Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Greg from the OJCs, your jazz tourist. Hey everyone, it's Greg from the OJCs, a jazz tourist. Today we have another edition of our record store walks. So before we get into it, make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the other videos in this series and my other videos, including some live streams. Let's get ready to go to Stockholm. Okay, so those of you who've seen my videos before know that I'm a big fan of Google Maps. I use Google Maps, as you can see. Here's my account, and I was in Stockholm a couple years ago, and it's just an easy way to get around the city. We all have, or many people have, mobile phones now with service overseas, and so I just start to, even before I head overseas, I start to tag record stores that I'm interested in checking out, and of course other places like brew pubs and things like that. So what I'd like to do is talk about two areas of the city that are both very easily walkable. And then maybe along the way, as I've already hinted at, we'll talk about some other places where you can stop and have a beer, or some places that are good places for other shopping, or getting a bite to eat. Because that's what record store walks are all about, not just collecting, but going with friends, having a coffee or a drink afterwards, and kind of swapping notes on how the day's gone. So okay, so let's turn over here to a map of the city. Let me pull out a little bit. Okay, there's Stockholm. It's an absolutely beautiful city. Can be expensive, but not as expensive as you would think. It's probably more expensive to get there, really, than to kind of enjoy yourself while you're there. Housing can be a little tricky. I was there for 2 months, so I really had a chance to check out the city. I kind of came and went a couple times, and I'm really hoping to go back as well. Anyhow, so let's zoom in. This is the kind of downtown area. If you can see my cursor here, I'm circling around the downtown area of Stockholm, right where it says Stockholm. But I spent quite a bit of my time on this island here, this large island to the south of the downtown core, and that's called Sodermalm. So this is kind of the more cultural part of town. A lot of used clothing stores, excuse me, and restaurants in the Stockholm area. Stockholm itself, downtown, is the kind of the older part of the city, and the more establishment classes, I guess, live in that part of the city as well. The older universities, so on and so forth. So why don't we start actually in the Vasatan, excuse me, area of Stockholm. It's a little bit of a bus ride out of the core of the city, as you can see here. I'm going to say it from the city center or from the central station. That's a good place to kind of mark it out. You can take, perhaps I'm going to say, maybe a 10-15 minutes maximum bus ride. Or there's also some good kind of commuter train is one stop away, I believe, from Stockholm. Okay, that takes you around this neighborhood here, central part of Vasatan here in this train station. Or if you kind of walk around, probably within, you know, within this kind of central block here in Vasatan, there's probably 3 or 4 options for either taking the bus, as I said, the commuter train, or the metro. So it's easily networked, easily to get to. But I'm going to start the walk over here. You see, I've starred 3 different record stores that I want to talk to you about today. There are others. Maybe I'll briefly talk about them, but these are the ones that I would recommend if you're looking for jazz records. Okay, so here's the first one. It's called Omega Records. Let's pull that up. Let's check it out. So Omega Records, look at that, it has a great reputation and set of reviews on Google. It's the smallest store. I'm going to say that there are 2 Omega record stores, and if memory serves, there are a couple blocks away from each other. And one was very much focused on kind of rock and pop, and this one that I've highlighted for you here is more focused on, I'm going to say, collectibles. And there is a smaller jazz section at the back. So I'm gonna let's just have a look at some of the photos, and maybe we can. It's a great, great window display here. Very narrow store, as I remember it. And yeah, it doesn't look as if we have any great photos here. So let me just kind of recall how it my memory of kind of going into the store, that you have to go all the way to the back, and there were probably about, I'm going to say, about 3 bins over in the back left and a couple in the back right. And I don't remember there being a lot of collectibles, but there were a lot of Scandinavian, surprise, surprise, reissues, and also OGs of kind of steeplechase and other Scandinavian labels. So there was a lot of stuff there that I hadn't seen before. The prices were very good. I'm going to say you could get from probably 10 euros up to 30 euros is a really great a price point. And I walked out of there with 3 or 4 LPs. The staff there are wonderful. Spent a lot of time talking to me about what I was looking for, where I'm from, where I was staying in the city, what I was doing there. So very friendly owners there. Had a great visit there. I've only went once over a couple months, just because it's slightly out of the way. But it's a good place to start this particular walk that I'm kind of laying out for you today. So that's a good start. It wasn't overly serious, wasn't overly strenuous, let's say, on my credit card, but it was a great warm up. It was very friendly, and like I said, a good place to find local jazz records, okay, or kind of Scandinavian labels. All right, so let's go back to the map. So that was Omega Records. So if you head up to, this is Odengatan. That's terrible pronunciation. Geez, my Swedish. It's not what it used to be. And head over here, right next to this wonderful big park. There's tons of, as promised, there's tons of great cafes along here and lunch spots. Very affordable, great place to grab a coffee and a muffin. Or I remember there being a couple of really great small Italian restaurants that were great places for a small slice of pizza or lasagna. So great place again. If you kind of pop over to Omega around 11, as you can see, that's when they open, and grab a lunch. And then after lunch, head over to Runt. Not really exactly sure what why Runt. Bit of a strange name, but hey, check this out. So I'm going to say it's kind of a medium small store. And right as you enter, as you can hopefully see here, there we go. That's a little bit better, isn't it, folks? You can see that there are 3 crates here of fairly collectible jazz right up front. There's a whole bunch around the walls as well. My experience here was that, and I'm going to say that there were a couple crates over here to the left. Let me use my cursor here. Excuse me. My other left. Over here to the right, right of the cash register against the wall. So I'm going to say there was a really healthy group of bins to be able to go through right away. I think the jazz is one of the better collections in the store. Things move here quickly, obviously. I found a lot of Japanese versions here. I found some OGs and 70s Blue Notes and Impulse albums as well. And I thought that the pricing here was actually very good. I'm going to say that that for kind of 70s Blue Notes here, I remember them being around 25 euros and up, which is decent. And I walked out with a couple Jackie McLean Japanese with OBs they were a little bit more expensive. I'm going to say they were about 35 euros. So that's again in Canadian dollars about $50, or in US dollars, I don't know, you do the math, around $35. So this was a great store. Owner was friendly, a little quiet. I don't think he might not have spoke a lot of English. Most of the stores, there's no problem, no language barriers in my experience. I think this fellow was a little bit older, but anyway, I could be wrong on that, but very friendly still. Again, a great place. Had a good dig around, but I'm going to say 90% of what I was interested in was in these crates right here. So it's a place to definitely go back and check a couple times if you're in the city for, let's say, more than a week or 2 weeks. Definitely head to Runt and check it out. Highly recommended. I'm going to say this is probably my third or fourth favorite stores in the city. Okay, we're walking. We've had a nice lunch and a coffee. We've hit 2 stores already. We've probably got 5 LPs in our bags. And we're heading down Odengatan. That was not better, was it? Okay, we're down here, this intersection. I'm just going to highlight that. There's Hurricane Records down here, and which there's also Beat Goes On down here. I didn't go to Beat Goes On. It wasn't very well rated, so I didn't bother. Hurricane, there was a lot of jazz in there, actually. There was probably about 5 or 6 bins. I just didn't find anything, and it wasn't a great collectible kind of set of LPs and bins that they had there. You may want, given that it's kind of on this walk, sure, pop in there and check it out. But I only went once and I didn't leave with anything. So cha. There we go. Head up north after you've gone to Hurricane and found something that I didn't find. Make sure you don't head up this way. You want to head up this street here. House of Oldies, if memory serves. Yeah, okay. I totally forgot about this place. Wow, it was really messy. I didn't have this on my list. Maybe it's because I've got like interested in going to it. But you walk in and there's just like tons of mess. There's just like stuff everywhere. And the further you go in, the nicer it gets. I totally forgot about this place. Okay, it's a good thing I'm doing this video, huh? It's good for refreshing the memory. And you walk in and it's really messy and it's all like cheap stuff. So I had the same experience at a couple stores in Amsterdam. So it doesn't give a great impression when you come in, but then you kind of take a left. Let's see if we can, wasn't expecting to do this. Not quite prepped. Let's see if we can, yeah, there's no great photos here, unfortunately. But after you go through this giant, hall of crap, and then you turn left, and there's this really nice, quite a large, I'm going to say one of the larger collections of LPs in Stockholm. And there were a lot of European LPs there. There were a lot of Scandinavian LPs there. There was a lot of, I think there was at least one, if not 2 full bins of ABBA LPs. So that was hilarious. So absolutely, look, you're in Sweden. House of Oldies. This is where you get your ABBA fix, vinyl fix. Anyway, after you do that, head right to the back of the store, and there's a whole section of, I'm going to say there's about 10 bins, and there was a lot of great stuff in it. They had a huge selection of early and some OG Impulse. I remember there, not as many Blue Notes or Riverside or other jazz labels, but I walked out of there with, I'm going to say, this is where I got a lot of my Coltrane Impulse albums here from House of Oldies. But I don't know. I only went there once for some reason. I can't remember why, which is why I didn't put this on my list originally. But it's well worth going to, and the prices were very good. I'm going to say again, they started around 25 euros again for Impulse. Good, very good condition LPs. It's not the greatest storefront. I'm starting to repeat myself, but head all the way in, past all the crap, to a hard left, right to the back, and check out their jazz. They're highly recommended, even though I completely forgot about it. All right. So I think part of the reason why I kind of forgot about House of Oldies is because I wanted to get to Andra Jazz, which So I'm recording this at the end of July 2024, and it's showing that it's temporarily closed. I'm assuming this is because, it's a dog days of summer here, right? So I'm assuming they're on holiday. But when I first Googled jazz record stores in Stockholm, this is what popped up: Android Jazz. And you can kind of get a vibe for the place here. That's obviously the cash register, and really, this is where all the really great stuff is. It's behind the cash. So this is the kind of place where you need to talk to the owner, um, and tell them what it is that you're looking for, because there's a big collection there. I found it difficult to navigate. There was stuff on the floor, there was stuff in boxes, there was stuff over here, there was stuff there was stuff down there. Some of it wasn't priced. Some I start to flip through, and the owner was giving me a hairy eyeball. So I don't think they were quite ready to be put out. It can be a little overwhelming. The regular stacks, there's stuff in the regular stacks, but again, there's so much of it. You really got to have an afternoon to dig through here. Okay, let me back up a bit. I got a little bit excited there. I'm not sure why, because I didn't buy anything here, but I guess that was the punchline. I gave it away. Anyway, when you come into your right, after you've come up the stairs to your right, there's a not very well marked section of about 6 bins, and that's their new arrivals. You may want to ask where your new arrivals. And that actually was a good selection there of all different types of jazz. Again, a lot of live jazz recordings, which is what Denmark and Sweden in particular are kind of well known for. At least that's my perspective in terms of checking out all these record stores. There were a lot of live recordings and LPs. But I'm not sure what it was. I think a lot of stuff moves very quickly through here. Maybe that's a simple and tried and true answer to why I didn't find anything here. But I did ask the owner, who was very busy. I think they do a lot of online sales. So I kind of waited for the moment where he didn't look completely busy and said, "Hey, I'm looking for One Step Beyond by Jackie McLean." And in fact, he was so busy that he said, "Just give me your number." And so I gave him my number, and he called me the next day, and he said, "I've got 2 copies." They were behind the desk. I have 2 copies, and they were priced. They were okay. I think one was an OG, and I can't remember what he wanted for it now. It was a hefty amount, right? I'm gonna say it was, and again, not unreasonable given the prices that you see for that relatively rare LP, mid-60s Blue Note LP. But I just didn't want to spend the whatever it was, 250 euros on one album, right? So that was kind of the space I was in at the time. But all that to say that there absolutely is there are rather collectibles here that you need to kind of engage with the owner. Um, you need to kind of wait for your moment. There's a lot of regulars that are in there. It definitely has been around for a while. Wasn't the friendliest vibe, which I think it was just that the fellow was really busy. Anyway, I went back one more time and didn't find anything. But in terms of jazz record stores, right, that focus almost entirely on jazz records, this is the place to go to. Andra Jazz Records in Stockholm. Anyway, check out their online store. That might be a fun thing to do in terms of seeing what it is that they are currently selling. Let's just check out their website. Whoa, that's pretty funky, huh? Do they have an Instagram account? We sell and buy. Where are we? Wow, there it is. Okay, I'll drop this down in the comment section as well. And there we go. There is a store. I'm not going to follow it through. So when you have time, go check it out. Again, check out the prices and the collection. Really interesting place. But again, I just didn't find anything. Cha cha cha. All right. So that is a Vasatan. Okay. So again, where did we go? So we just summarize again. Omega Records, Runt Run, Runt Runt Runt. Greg's Brain Fart House of Oldies, which is not a comment on that place. It's a great place. Andra, I hope you have better luck there. Let me know in the comments section what your finds are there. Okay. Ah, exhale, exhale as Greg moves us over to Sodermalm, which is where I stayed. Just a beautiful, beautiful part of the city. I can't tell you how much fun I had there. Lovely, lovely walking. It was quite a bit bigger than I thought. I don't know why. But the bus system is very good. The subway not as good in Sodermalm because it's really kind of north south. I'm going to say, but there is a commuter rail that goes to the west side of Sodermalm, and a very efficient bus system that gets you around as well. But this particular walk is one that can start. Let's see if I can get us here to the station. There it is, Slussen. Slussen is not just a bus stop, but it's also one of the major subway lines as well. There we go. Is that it? Aha, Slussen. Okay, so if you're in the city, if you're downtown and maybe one of the tourist hotels and you want to get over there quickly, you can walk, right? You can walk over this way. And I believe when I was there was construction. They were trying to build a pedestrian walkway over here. This is the old part of downtown. Absolutely beautiful down here. But that you could also just walk straight across over here to where Slussen is. All right. Walk over to Odengatan. Okay, this is the main street, the main kind of north-south street that cuts all the way through Sodermalm. Highly recommend Stegberget Fot, which is a brew pub. Has good food there too, but I thought that was some of the best um, independent beers that I've ever had. So I spent quite a bit of time there. Really enjoyed it. Okay, let's get us back onto topic. So anyway, if you want to stop, have a drink here or have a drink here at Omnipolos Hat. A little bit expensive, the breweries, but I'm going to say well worth it. Okay. But here is one of my favorite record stores. In fact, I have it on. If you have a look through my record walks, if I have a look through my other videos, I have a top 5 record stores in the world, and this is on the list. This is called Jungle and Jazz. And the first time I went in there, I was I was confused. I was sweaty. I became humid, and I wasn't sure what was going on. And you kind of get a little bit of sense as to why that is by looking at the full first picture I pulled up here. It's a store that has records and kind of exotic plants. So when you walk in, it's kind of it's a little bit of this, right? So I obviously walked in here, did a little bit of this. The owner came right up to me and was really just wonderful. Is it really just no? There's 13 photos. Let's find another one. And walked me to the back room. So at the front, where you're really confused and there's a lot of plants, there is a selection of albums up on the wall, and they're often profiled, highlighted on Jungle and Jazz's Instagram account. Again, have a look. I'll post it below. And so they kind of cycle through, I'm going to say once a week or 2 weeks, and they'll have a theme, right? It'll be kind of blue notes this week, or free jazz this week, or spiritual jazz. So I really enjoyed the way in which they kind of curated those LPs in the front room, again, surrounded by all these big green leaves. But anyway, the owner took me to the back room here, and I think that how many bins we got here? Let's say there's 15 bins, and about 13 of them are jazz. There's a Swedish jazz section. There's world jazz, funk, fusion. So it's nicely kind of broken down, curated, and organized. And I came to Jungle and Jazz, I don't know, probably every week, at least. Every week. And it was also very close to where I was staying. So that was another major reason why I came here so often. I also really liked the staff. There was a younger fellow who worked there as well, who I would go in there and we would chat for a good 15 minutes. Really friendly. And they constantly had stuff that was coming and constantly coming in. So they've got a pipeline to great jazz. Prices for the collectible stuff, a little bit higher than what I would want to pay. But again, it's stuff that's really hard to find. But if you go deeper in the bins, as you can see here on screen, you can find really good deals. So I got Art Blakey's drum suite, an English UK version for a very, very good price. Very heavy vinyl. It sounds absolutely terrific. Very happy with that. I'm going to say every time I went there, I picked up at least a couple LPs. So probably half of the LPs I bought when I was in Stockholm came from this room, from this very room, came from this room, came from this very room. You get what I'm saying. Highly, highly recommend. Don't be put off by the humidity and the green leaves and the bizarreness of it all. Highly, highly recommended. One of my favorite places to go digging in the city. Okay, now, sorry everyone, we're not at the pub, and we didn't go back there because we were on a mission, and we've turned the corner. Here, there's a park, beautiful. There's a number of live venues in this neighborhood as well, but where we're going to head is Record Mania, and actually, I debated over and over whether or not this was on my top 5 jazz record store list of jazz record stores around the world. So you have 2 really fabulous Jungle and Jazz and Record Mania stores almost back to back within 2 blocks of each other. Now, Record Mania's their slogan is what is it? Let me see if I can pull it up. Is we're a new store every Friday, or a new store every week. There we go. A new store every Friday. So so this is a really great, I'm going to put this store in kind of like the jazz and rare groove kind of category. So although they did have interesting selection of rock there, more indie rock, avant-garde indie rock, some punk, some disco and reggae. But I'm also going to say that maybe about a third to half of the store was focused on jazz. When you walk in a smaller store, when you walk in, there's about 2 or 3 bins right facing at the desk, facing the cash register, and those are all the new things. Now, is it a funky thing? I was going to say the funky thing about this store is that it's a bit of a hybrid model, right? Like they sell a lot of their LPs, particularly their new stuff that's posted every Friday, hence a new store every Friday. That's like posted, whatever it is. It's like clockwork. I think it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. So I really got into a habit of checking their web page. As you can see, all the new stuff is already listed here. Let me just put new in stock and you'll see. There we go. So they just go, holy smokes, they got a bunch of Sun Ra pop in there. That's pretty cool. Let me just scroll down. I haven't looked in a while. Ooh, they got some really good stuff. Wow, they've got some great stuff in here. Okay, after I finish this, I'm gonna go back and check them out. Anyway, they got, again, a lot of traffic, just a lot of inventory. Blows through this place. The prices are okay. Probably a little bit more than I normally pay here in Toronto, but again, it's just a steady flow of really great titles. So either I would try to show up as early as possible, or as I was just saying, I would check out their website early. And it was nice because you check out the website and then you can put them in your cart, and then there's an option for dropping by the store, reserving them and picking them up, and obviously not paying any shipping charges. Or of course you can ship some stuff. So just a fabulous collection of LPs, of jazz LPs, a lot of originals, a lot of hard to find, a lot of international jazz, a lot of Swedish, Norwegian, and Scandinavian, Danish jazz as well. Again, those titles tend to be cheaper, but at the same time hard to find elsewhere, right? So I was embarrassed the number of times I went to this store. So I got to know the owners a little bit. Friendly group, very busy because they're doing a lot of business online. So yeah, so you need to kind of navigate that. If you're sitting at home in San Francisco or Vancouver, you're navigating it through this website, but would also highly recommend going there. Even their older bins had lots of great stuff in there. They had original Blue Notes in their older bins as well. There is a turntable in there, so you can play stuff and figure out if those marks are making any noises on the vinyl. Anyway, really miss this store. This is a great store. Okay, so getting really excited here. Let's see if we can wrap this up, huh? Got one more store, and it's a little bit of a walk. Oh, there it is. It's actually all the way down. I'm not even going to try to Ostgott. No, I should have gone with my original thought of not trying to pronounce that street. But have a walk. This is a little bit of a hill. Walk down the hill. What's this? It's probably another. Oh, it's another brew pub. This one's really nice too. Mikeller, they have one in London as well. So I think that's a chain, but the beer's still good. Anyway, head all the way down here. This is a little bit of a walk. I'm going to say from Recomania down to Pet Sounds. It's probably, I don't know, 15-minute walk. Nice walk. Again, you're in the heart of Sodermalm. There's also some great places to eat around here. There is a market on the weekend here on this Katarina Bangata. Cash only? Is it cash only? No, it's the opposite. Like Sweden is a cashless society, and even at the market, uh, there was no cash, right? No one accepted cash, and you had to have like the local card, and I didn't have the local card. Anyway, let's go to there's two stores on this street. Fade Records has a small collection, mostly new stuff, but there was some new stuff in there. Again, from Scandinavian jazz that I popped in, and so I did buy one or two albums in there. So if you're down here, maybe you want to check out Fade as well, Fade Records. But Pet Sounds is the much larger of the two. Let's see if we can get a good view. Sorry, maybe that one. That's a bit of a better picture here. Anyway, over on the left here is the entrance. We're kind of turned around here. Here's obviously the cash register. If you walk through and push this fellow over, get out of the way, and head over here where this wall is and go around back. I'm going to say there's probably about six jazz bins, and there's some stuff on the wall. There's a collectible bin, I do remember, or maybe a bin that said Blue Note and Impulse or something like that. And they probably had 5 or 6 things that I would always be like, oh, should I buy this? Prices were quite good here. I'm going to say of all the places that I've shown, this was probably a little bit more reasonable on the wallets, and did have some collectibles. It was a range of collectibles there. I don't think they really specialized in anything in particular. but would highly recommend it. There's a big used bin section just to the left of this fellow here, kind of behind you, and did have some jazz in there actually, and also had I think of all the stores that I went to, this is the store that had more kind of regional and local bands, for sure. So a lot of Scandinavian jazz. Some of the acts that I saw, some of the live jazz that I saw in town, I found their LPs here. So when I was interested in finding a Swedish jazz act or a new release from Scandinavia, this is where I went. One of these days, I'll get my pointing right. Okay, everyone. So, Pet Sounds Bar is the name of that last record store. I hope this has been helpful. If you enjoyed it, again, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and come back and check out the next jazz record store walk. See you later.